They really detached. I don't even think Oprah Winfrey is a black woman. I think she's a white woman. She's been catering to a demographic of middle-aged white women for a long period of time. And I think when you act as if for long periods, you become as if.
You have a couple of pets as well,
Yeah.
a dog and a cat with interesting names, to say the least.
Yeah. That's Oprah.
That's Oprah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I heard you have a dog named Oprah.
Yeah.
Oh, you are in so much trouble, 50.
But if you can't think for yourself, then you're not really free, are you?
No, you're not. You're not. But I've been excluded. I've been excluded on Oprah, you know.
On Oprah?
On Oprah, yeah, I've been excluded. Yeah.
Why do most rappers not F with Oprah Winfrey?
Have you made it to Oprah yet?
Have I made it to Oprah? I've been on Oprah a long time ago.
Okay, so
I haven't made it back, but I was on there one time. I'll tell you.
How did it go?
You know what? We talking about the first time I was on
The first time you was on.
You didn't
Oprah.
see it?
No, I missed this.
You
one.
didn't hear about it?
Is this the one about the N-word?
No,
this is about the movie. I do remember.
Yeah.
She cut you off.
Right.
She edited out what you had to say.
Pretty much.
Okay.
That's what it came down to. That was the only time I was on Oprah.
Okay, and then
Whether we get invited back or not.
The Ludacris interview happened in 2006. Luda stated that she edited out most of what he said and made the interview look one-sided. And when he wanted to be invited back, she never allowed it. I mean, Oprah is very choosy about who she invites on her show, and she has a right to do that. And in fact, it's one of the things that have made the show a huge success. Oprah states that she doesn't invite rappers on her show because she feels like she's empowering them. And in fact, she didn't have a problem inviting this man on her show and hanging out with him.
To most people, she seemed pretty picky, choosy on who she would invite on her show. And during this time, a lot of people were really upset about this. A lot of people didn't understand this because she would invite people like Jay-Z and Diddy on her show multiple times.
50 Cent stated that their beef began because every time Oprah had anything to say about hip-hop, all she did was criticize, and she focused most especially on his album.
He even named his female dog Oprah. And it didn't stop with 50 Cent. Even Ludacris said that he went through the same things of Oprah denying him being on the show because she didn't like his music.
50 stated that she's so detached from black culture, and when you act like a white woman for a long time, you actually start thinking you are actually a white woman.
Yeah, I really don't care about Oprah Winfrey or Al Sharpton or what they think. I think that's the point when you're detached and you don't actually understand the environment anymore. I think they've reached that point. When they look at me like I'm supposed to be detached because I made a few dollars, they're really detached. I don't even think Oprah Winfrey is a black woman. I think she's a white woman. She's been catering to a demographic of middle-aged white women for a long period of time. And I think when you act as if for long periods, you become as if.
And 50 Cent handles beef his own way. So it was surely just a coincidence when he named his dog after Oprah.
You have a couple of pets as well,
Yeah.
a dog and a cat with interesting names, to say the least.
Yeah. That's Oprah.
That's Oprah. Okay.
I didn't have anything against Oprah.
You just called her a
I'm gonna tell you why.
You named your dog Oprah, didn't you?
Yeah, I did.
Dad?
Look.
I remember that.
So after this, they reconciled and he confirmed to her on her show that he named his Oprah as it was a female dog. Then he named his cat after Oprah's friend, Gayle King.
I heard you have a dog named Oprah.
Yeah.
Oh, you are in so much trouble, 50.
I consider that a compliment.
Yeah,
whether you meant it to be one or not.
I love you.
Now, 50 wasn't the only one who felt Oprah was too critical of hip-hop. After some time, it became 50 Cent and Snoop Dogg going after Oprah. Then, Oprah fell while speaking at an event in LA.
Says that you have to name it to claim it. So here's my definition of what wellness means to me. This is my definition, not yours, just an idea. because you're going to be defining it for yourself. Wellness to me means all things in balance. And balance doesn't mean all things are equal or at peace at all time. Wrong shoes.
50 Cent posted this on social media with the caption, "What the F happened here?" Michael Jackson's ghost tripped her. Right under 50's post was Snoop Dogg with the reply, "Michael and Kobe blew a gust of wind."
50, how do you feel about the whole, in light of the whole Don Imus thing, you and Snoop being sort of the brunt of what's going on, your lyrical content?
I really don't feel, it's not really a tragedy to me that that's happening. You know what I mean? Like, I think for a moment that a lot of people forgot that our country's at war, and they'll point to usage of content and music like hip hop and say it's the problem. Maybe it influences violence on some levels, and not point to the actual films that are released that have the similar content and has image and sound that is definitely more impressionable than just sound. And I personally believe on every level that it's easier to attack a individual than it is to go after a corporation. So they point to specific hip hop artists to go after, opposed to going after Paramount or Columbia Pictures. It's a tougher fight, man. They're corporate attorneys, they beast, you know what I mean? So I look at, in every situation there's gonna be some new obstacles that form in front of you. Like growing up without finances, I felt like finances would be the answer to all my problems, and now I realize that there will always be something new. I don't know if that answers your question to your satisfaction.
It doesn't.
Thank you, June 26th, Curtis.
Yeah, he wasn't interested in all of that. He was more interested in promoting the album.
Over here, it matters. Lee Bailey over here.
Hey, how you doing?
Yeah, you sort of didn't really answer the question.
I didn't?
Not really.
Okay, so give me a portion of the question
from
that
your
I didn't
point
answer
of
to your
view,
satisfaction.
as an artist who does what people would consider offensive lyrics, what they would consider offensive lyrics, do you feel compelled at all to try and get with the program and not use those lyrics?
Wow, I mean, the program. Let me get this right. Okay. Wait. The president, they want to tell, are you familiar with politics?
Absolutely.
So you're familiar with the president's number 2 man? And you're familiar with him resigning based on him using maybe what we call a dating service? Maybe he's hanging out with hoes that we mentioned in the music. That makes you, if that doesn't make you aware of a situation that exists. I mean, sure, the music is a mirror, and hip hop's a reflection of the environment that we grew up in. It's the harsh realities that end up in the music. If I asked you to paint a picture of the American flag and not use the color red, you're gonna have a difficult time. So to capture what we're trying to capture in the art form, I'm sure some conservative Americans can't actually ID with it because of their lifestyle and the way they've actually been brought up, and they haven't been exposed to these realities. I understand it. I'm actually angry at some points when I'm confused or I don't have information. So again, I understand why I'm constantly being attacked on some levels, but you see T.I. anxious to answer the same question because he falls into the same category. Also, all of hip hop. It's difficult for you to find a hip hop album that has had any success that hasn't had content on some level that was a little racy,
What about Master P? He's announcing he's
Well, Master P doesn't sell CDs anymore. You can tell him I said it. Cameras is rolling, right? Curtis, June 26th.
Things that these rappers are saying, I was doing, so I could still be out there doing. You lucky that I'm only up here saying.
When 50 Cent was getting all of this heat, Snoop Dogg was the other rapper that got just as much heat as 50 Cent. Snoop saw Oprah as a hypocrite. He put up a post that said, did that fake Michael shit to tarnish his name with them lying ass kids, and here she is with a known abuser. F you and Gayle. That line of shit that Snoop was referring to is that 1993 Oprah Winfrey interview she did with Michael Jackson.
Out of singing, wait. Yeah. And when you are, for instance, when we were here before, you know what? I mean, all the things ever printed in the tabloid, the only things ever been true is when they said I couldn't dance. When we were here the last time shooting the commercial, you were like in between shots, running off, conceiving the dance, choreographing the dance. You were up all night dancing.
During this interview, MJ felt quite uncomfortable. Oprah asked unnecessary questions like, was Michael Jackson still a virgin? Asking, is the reason why you turning your skin white is because you don't want to be yourself? And you would expect a big name like Oprah to do her research.
Oprah Winfrey would end up inviting Michael Jackson on her show, and it was one of the biggest interviews she's ever done. And this wasn't just because it was Michael Jackson. Oprah would make Michael Jackson feel uncomfortable and embarrassed during this interview, asking him if he had multiple different surgeries done on his face and why he was turning his skin white, asking him if he didn't want to be himself. Knowing that Michael Jackson had went through that horrible incident during the Pepsi commercial where he had third-degree burns on his face and scalp, and also knowing that he had a condition called vitiligo, which he had to explain to Oprah during this interview. After Michael Jackson's death, Oprah would then interview the two boys that accused Michael Jackson of SA. And people were actually horrified by this decision because Oprah waited until Michael Jackson passed away to do this. And a lot of people felt like she was trying to tarnish Michael Jackson's name because he was found not guilty of these crimes.
Remember, Oprah didn't do those interviews until MJ passed away. And Snoop Dogg went all in. But not only just on Oprah Winfrey, but on her BFF, Gayle King. Just days after Kobe Bryant in that accident, she did an interview with Kobe's longtime friend, Lisa Leslie, and asked, is his legacy complicated?
It's been said that his legacy is complicated because of a sexual assault charge, which was dismissed in 2003, 2004. Is it complicated for you as a woman, as a WNBA player?
It's not complicated for me at all. Even if there's a few times that we've been at a club at the same time. Kobe's not the kind of guy, never been like, you know, Lisa, go get that girl or tell her or send her this. I have other NBA friends that are like that. Kobe's, he was never like that. I just never have ever seen him being the kind of person that would do something to violate a woman or be aggressive in that way. That's just not the person that I know.
But Lisa, you wouldn't see it though. As his friend, you wouldn't see it.
And that's possible. I just don't believe that.
Snoop accused both women of being hypocrites by showing that they are both friends of Harvey Weinstein, but never said anything about him even when the abuse and assault accusations began. We waiting, Gayle. When is that interview gonna air? Then he put up another post calling out Oprah for not saying anything when her spiritual leader got accused of SA. However, in recent times, there are a few rappers who have spoken out against Oprah, like Ice Cube. Cube has had some really interesting things to say recently. Ice Cube put out a document called Contract with Black America, a nonpartisan proposal aimed at addressing racial inequality and promoting economic justice for Black Americans. Cube revealed that the gatekeepers have been blackballing him.
Yo, what's cracking? You know what it is. It's your homeboy Ice Cube. And some of you may not have realized that I'm not part of the club. And a lot of you listening to me right here, right now, you're not part of the club either. And what I realized with the club is what makes them so mad is when you don't want to be a part of their fucking club. That pisses them off. What club am I talking about? I'm talking about the club of gatekeepers that we all got to deal with. You know who they are, and they definitely know who they are. A lot of people would be like, what, who? Come on, man, stop playing. So, ever since I put out the contract with Black America, you know they've been here and there, this and that. But it's cool, you know. I expect that. You know, I've been working with, on the Big Three for a long time, and you know how they've been me.
Cube stated that all these started because he became an independent and free thinker, just asking for what his people deserve. And after this, the gatekeepers started with him. One of those gatekeepers that Ice Cube is referring to is Oprah Winfrey. Ice Cube stated that ever since he started voicing his opinion, they've blackballed him from all the big shows and podcasts. So Cube decided to give a middle finger to everybody against him by doing what he called a F the Gatekeepers podcast tour.
Stop doing that behind the scenes that we know you're doing. Mainstream media, they ain't with us. And that's cool. We can do it ourselves, you know what I'm saying? We still on the rise without these. We don't need them, you don't need them. So, what am I gonna do to deal with these gatekeepers?
Ice Cube went against the grain. He did an interview with everyone. He appeared on platforms that most people don't expect a black man to speak to. You had Cube on the Joe Rogan Experience. He spoke to Tucker Carlson, Piers Morgan, and Bill Maher. On all of these shows, he was speaking against the establishment and the authorities, exposing how the systems extort black people and have them fighting against themselves, rather than fighting for what they deserve.
Who benefits and profits off our bickering in our division? It's like follow the money. I don't know their names, Bill, but if you follow the money, you go high enough, you start to see, okay, this is an industry. Okay, let's take rap music.
Let's take it.
Same people who own the labels own the prisons. So,
literally the same people?
Literally the same people who own the labels own private prisons. So, it seems really kind of suspicious, if you want to say that word, that, the records that come out are really geared to push people towards that prison industry.
But they didn't make you write those lyrics.
It's not about making somebody write the lyrics. It's about being there as guardrails to make sure certain songs make it through and certain songs don't.
There's been a lot of stuff about the state of the world, about the state of America. Where do you see things right now?
I think people are very polarized in all kind of ways. People are afraid to speak out because of the cancel culture that we have today. So I just think, people are afraid and they're running to their corners, In
a way, it is a cancel culture. It behaves like that.
It does, because it makes not only the person that's getting canceled, they're trying to them up, but anybody's watching now, they because they say, if it can happen to this guy, it can happen to me. So by smashing somebody who says something that you might not like and canceling them, it actually reverberates throughout the whole community, and everybody now is watching what they say all the time.
Like, what they want is for people to tell me I'm You know what I mean? They want people to tell me, you turning down $9 million, you you know, I'll do anything for $9 million. How can Cube be? And I don't care about that. You know, it's like, I didn't lose $9 million because I never had it. Like, if you never have you can't lose it, okay? You lose it when it's in your bank account, then you look up and it's gone. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But if you never had it, I didn't lose it. It just was never given to me. And so, you know, they try to, you know, put my business in the street, put pressure on me, everybody around me telling me how I am so I could go get vaxxed and say, you know, please let me do the movie. You know, that was never gonna happen. I don't care if it was 20 million. That was never gonna happen.
And if you got injured from that vaccine, you would have paid that 20 million to be healthy again.
Damn right.
Damn right.
Yeah.
Damn right. There's a lot of people out there that wish that they weren't forced into making that decision. And that's where the real lawsuits are going to come from. The real lawsuits, since you can't sue the vaccine companies, they're going to start suing these businesses, and they're already lining up.
A black man speaking out against what he sees as injustice is the kind of figure you expect to see on Oprah. However, Cube revealed that he was banned from The View. But the biggest surprise is when Cube learned that he was also banned from the Oprah Winfrey Show.
Oprah Winfrey has been the face of a lot of controversy over the years, with a lot of the controversy coming from the Oprah Winfrey Show. A very openly talked about subject was that Oprah did not like rappers, and this started her very first beef with 50 Cent. 50 Cent pitched going on Oprah's show, and Oprah denied it, saying she was not interested in his music whatsoever. And if you know 50, this started a war between him and Oprah. He even named his female dog Oprah. And it didn't stop with 50 Cent. Even Ludacris said that he went through the same things of Oprah denying him being on the show because she didn't like his music. Ice Cube has also publicly spoke about the same exact things going on with Oprah. And a lot of people didn't understand this because she would invite people like Jay-Z and Diddy on her show multiple times. And to most people, she seemed pretty picky, choosy on who she would invite on her show. And during this time, a lot of people were really upset about this because they felt like Oprah was such a powerful black woman and she should have been supporting these black men's careers by inviting them on her show. And the controversy about Oprah's show doesn't stop there. I'm sure you guys remember Monique, who did an interview earlier this year with Shannon Sharpe. And Monique has openly spoke about how Tyler Perry and Oprah blackballed her from Hollywood for years. But that's not all that Oprah did. Before Monique and Oprah's relationship fell out, they had a very deep conversation about Monique going through SA by the hands of her brother. And Oprah even shared her story with Monique.
But if you can't think for yourself, then you're not really free, are you?
No, you're not. You're not. But I've been excluded. I've been excluded on Oprah, you know.
On Oprah?
On Oprah, yeah, I've been excluded. Yeah, man.
I would think you'd be the person Oprah would want to promote. I mean, you grew up in South Central, you were successful at a young age, you have dignity, you say what you think. Like, I thought that was the goal.
Me too. You know, I don't know what it is, but, you know, several of my, you know, I had a movie called Barbershop, you know.
Yeah, I remember.
That I wasn't invited to participate with the cast.
See, word on the street is that Oprah is one of those gatekeepers that Cube was talking about. He refused to take the COVID-19 vaccine, and he and Oprah like a different brand of politics. Cube stated that just because they disagree on different things shouldn't keep them from having a conversation.
Do you think that it's harder to be a man in America now than it was when you were a kid?
Yes. Saying what you feel, being yourself, is what they call toxic. You know, we shouldn't be called toxic for our instincts and for, you know, I was born this way. What are you talking about? You know what I mean? Like, Why can't we be ourselves? We were born this way too.
So there are some groups, like if I say I'm trans, then people say, that's great, you were born that way, we affirm you. But if you say I'm just a dude with male instincts, you're not affirmed, you're attacked.
Yeah, I mean, everybody doesn't really have to affirm you, you know? If I wake up and say, you know, I feel like a pigeon, and I want everybody to treat me like a pigeon. Some people may say, whatever, Q, we treat you like a pigeon. But some people may choose to be like, dude, no. That's your world. I'm not part of it. And I have to be ready for that. It's a big world out here. Everybody doesn't have to adhere to me.
That's called narcissism, right?
Yeah, it seems like it. Yeah, seems like you're trying to bend the universe to your will. And it don't work like that.
After doing an interview with Tucker Carlson, many people called Cube a sellout was shut to him. But Ice Cube has shown that for him, it's not about the money. This man turned down $9 million. Cube will always stay true to himself and what he believes in, because for him, integrity matters more than anything else. Thanks, Cube. And for that, thank you for watching. Comment, like, share, and we'll see you real soon. Peace and blessings.